I believe one of the great ways to mix things up is what you listen to and who you surround yourself with. I genuinely believe that because I pander to the end consumer, the audience, that I am who I am. The only thing I like better than winning a piece of business is losing it. I genuinely enjoy it more.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like na 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 na. For my top 10, top 10, na 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 na. This one's for my top 10.
He's Gary Vaynerchuk, and here's my take on his top 10 rules of success, volume 19. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Surround yourself with positivity.
I believe one of the great ways to mix things up is what you listen to and who you surround yourself with. I'm unbelievably passionate about people finding more optimistic, practical friends. And I think optimism can slide into delusion, which is why I say optimistical, practical. There's only offense and defense. There's only the force and the dark side, right? And I think that right now a lot of people are choosing to be driven by fear and negativity without realizing it. And so if you're listening right now, my biggest thing is start leaning into a little bit more of optimism and positivity.
Rule number 2, don't have any regrets.
When I was a little kid, in Edison, New Jersey, when grandparents came over, I would go play with the grandparents a lot. Maybe it was because I lost 3 of my 4 grandparents as a kid. And the number one thing I learned in the first 20 years of my life, spending more time with old people than most kids, is the biggest thing I fear is regret. Regret is scary. Resentment is very scary. The biggest reason I push kids to do what they want versus what their parents want is because I'd rather them and their parents have 5 or 6 or 7 years of bad than 80. Because it gets very ugly when you're 60 and they're 80 and you lived your life based on what they wanted and now you resent them. It gets real ugly real fast. I would rather you have the pain for the next 5 or 6 years of fighting and then have one of 2 things happen, which I think both are amazing. Number 1, you were right. You were right, and you are an amazing fashion designer, not an engineer, and you built a real company, and your parents are gonna be very, very proud. Or, you were wrong. You suck at fashion design. Nobody liked it. But at least for yourself, you never have to live the rest of your life asking yourself, what if? You win both ways.
Rule number 3, focus on the customer.
What can some of the young entrepreneurs learn from the big companies, and what could big companies learn from the young entrepreneurs?
That's a great question. And honestly, I would argue that is a core strength of mine, that I play in both worlds, and so I'm able to see the common themes. I think big companies can learn that process for the sake of process is the worst thing of all time, and that's all they've become. And that long-term marathon running and building a business is better than every 90 days, but they're stuck because they pander to Wall Street. I think startups are impatient, underestimate scale, pander to VC, big companies pander to Wall Street, startups pander to VCs, neither panders to the end consumer. I genuinely believe that because I pander to the end consumer, the audience, that I am who I am. Wine Library was what Wine Library was, VaynerMedia is. Everybody panders to things in the middle that mean nothing.
Rule number 4, show your worth.
Today's
I'm not
world.
signing anything until
You feel it.
I know my worth. And
Yep.
I feel like I'm worth more than what
And you know what? And you know what's funny? A lot of times people are like, I know my worth. You're being actually more thoughtful than that. You're putting yourself in a position to allow the market to establish your worth.
Yeah.
Everybody knows their worth. The amount of there's millions of people running around saying, I know my worth, and never do anything because the market doesn't give them the leverage to create worth. What I like about what you're doing is you're not sitting in your room ideologically saying, I know my worth. You're putting in work to get money to put yourself in a position,
Right.
you're doing it the right way.
Thank you.
No, it's real. I mean it.
trying.
No, I mean it. I mean it. Like, I think I know my worth is like when people always say like, I'm not willing to work for free. I know my worth. And I'm like, you have ego. Like you're building a foundation on humility. You're actually working. And I'm sure, I'm not sure, but I assume you need to have a job that gives you flexibility. So you're probably not making $1 billion a year.
No, I'm working part-time, and that's like
Exactly.
lucky, that when I found the situation I found.
Yep. And so like, I just wish more youngsters would follow your blueprint. People are just not willing to eat and like, it's just entitlement. Everybody just decided they're the best rapper in the world. And they just leave comments on rappers' Instagrams and be like, you haven't heard me yet, I'm the best. Cool, show me.
Also, if you want to learn how to have more confidence, check out my 254 Confidence series. It's free. The link to join is in the description below.
I really think mindset is everything. And so you've got to really decide, are you gonna be positive about things or negative about things? We are strong as shit. We're really strong. We're just being sold that we're not, because there's a lot of money. The reason people aren't patient is they value other people's opinions too much.
Rule number 5, build your business around your hobbies.
I think a lot of people should build around their interests and their hobbies, businesses, because I think it's I think it's a better life to be happy and make $200,000 a year or $55,000 or $5,000 and be happy than to make $1 million and be miserable. I really believe that. It's not sustainable. Unhappiness is not sustainable. But there's a lot of ways to do it. I'll give you an example. If you love football, right? Okay, so that's your passion, right? Now when you think about a business, when you go back to the market, do you build 433 and a huge Instagram page? Do you build a direct consumer soccer ball business? Do you buy football jerseys and resell them on Facebook Marketplace? You see where I'm going? So I feel like there's a way to do both. And my opinion is, if you love football, then you're gonna be willing to be up at 11 o'clock at night DMing and trying to sell football jerseys, whereas if you're trying to do cryptocurrency because you think there's money there, you're not interested, you're there for the money.
Rule number 6, love the game.
I try to convince nobody of anything. I have zero interest in convincing anybody that anything I say is right. Like zero. Like people are always like, Gary, how do you convince the clients to do social media? I'm like, I don't. I tell them what I believe and hopefully they'll do something about it. And if not, then I can't wait to see them in 7 years when I can tell them, I told you so. I really feel like I win either way every time. I really feel like that's what happens. I'll either be historically correct and I'll razz you. All these kids that are not signing with Vayner Sports right now, right? Because me and my brother have this sports agency and we're coming in second a lot because they're enamored, but we're still new. And this agency that's been doing it for 40 years and did it for my favorite player feels like a smarter bet. It's crazy. I love it. There's a thing that came out about Kobe and Dwayne Wade this weekend where Dwayne Wade was talking about how he broke Kobe's nose in an all-star game. And he's like, he called him like a day later and Kobe was like, no, I love it. I love that you broke my nose. And everyone was just talking about how crazy Kobe was. And I was like watching that video, I was like, I so understand that. The only thing I like better than winning a piece of business is losing it. I genuinely enjoy it more.
Rule number 7, overcome adversity.
Adversity either crumbles you or becomes foundational to your success.
It's insane.
I always think about that picture where it looks like two people kissing or like a glass of champagne, like like the flute. I'm so fascinated by perspective. The amount of people who decide in your situation when you hurt your back that see, it was just about to get good, but God took it away from me and just give up is a lot.
Absolutely.
I mean that. And then people who go into a wheelchair because they're paralyzed and decide that's the platform that they're gonna use to change the world. I'm just so fascinated by perspective.
Rule number 8, chase happiness.
You know what I think is a better advantage than being born into something? Being born into nothing. I'm on the record. Remember I said it. Can't wait to watch it in 20 years. The internet the way it is today, I'd rather have 0 than 100 million. People that have 0 are like, this guy's an idiot. That's because you don't talk to trust fund babies. I do. I talk to trust fund babies. They DM me. I meet them in real life because of my business career. They're sad. Do you know what it's like to talk to a human being that looks at you at 22 years old and says, no matter what I do for the next 80 years, it will never be my own accomplishment. Everybody will always say I was handed it and I'm done. Do you know what kind of level of depression, cocaine, and partying until you die that leads to? A lot.
Both sides are always going to come. The other side has it better.
100%. And by the way, nor do I expect anybody that grew up the way I did in a studio apartment in Queens to have sadness for Richard Thompson III. They will say what I always hear, which is, cool, I'll cry in my Ferrari. That's because you don't know what crying is, dick. Because smiling in your Toyota is way better than crying in your Ferrari. But you can stay confused. And when you get there, why don't you call good old Gary and tell me how it actually feels? Crying is never acceptable, not interesting, AKA being sad and depressed and not happy. People are confused. If you think a Ferrari or some hot Supremes or a pretty girl or boy or a yacht is gonna make you happy, you're just not smart about life.
Rule number 9, play for yourself.
For me, personally, it's when I go to sleep, do I feel good about myself to myself? Yeah. I'm the judge and jury, not my mom, not my wife, not my kids, and definitely not you. Me for me. That's why I loved the Rocky with Drago, right? It's a moment that stuck with me as a kid, and now, 30 years later, I understand it. When he's standing there and he's telling the Soviet government, you weren't in the ring. I was fighting for myself, not for you and this country. I didn't understand. I thought it's because I was born in Russia and I loved the Rocky movies. But 25 years later, somehow on during a shower or a flight, I don't remember when I understood. I'm like, that's why 13-year-old me thought that was such an important moment. I'm playing for me. I'm the judge and the jury.
And rule number 10, the last one for a very special bonus clip, is use the 79-21 rule.
You put 80% of your energy to squeeze Instagram 150%.
Yeah.
And you spend 20% of your energy tasting YouTube, podcasts, direct mail, conferences, shows.
But if the 80% disappears, then you're just left with that 20% that's it.
You won't be, because the 80% of attention has to go somewhere else, and you've been tasting it on the 20%. When the 80% goes away on Instagram, where the f do you think all this attention goes? On the shit you've been tasting. When I came out and said, like, Snapchat's popping, I've been tasting Snapchat for 2 years. I saw the Khaled moment, and I looked at numbers, I'm like, this is the moment. But I've been tasting it.
Right.
I've been tasting LinkedIn for 4 years. Now I'm telling people it's happening. I'm still tasting Snapchat. You know how much shit you would sell on Snapchat?
I'm like completely off of it now.
I don't give a f.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, are you
No,
saying I need to?
Yes, I'm saying that.
At least
I'm saying you're vulnerable because you don't have the 20% going hard. Make your 80% of the thing that's really working the best, aka Instagram.
Yeah.
Go 150% hard on it, not 80%. Everybody's doing 100% Instagram, going 70% hard. Got it?
Right.
Net 70 points. I'm saying go 80% on Instagram, not 100%.
Yeah.
Go hard. Got it? Go hard, leaving you 20% to go hard on Twitter and Snap and all this. Why do I know what's going on Snap and LinkedIn right now? Because I've been doing this. Even though I'm the guy here, I'm going harder than everybody.
Right.
Podcast, email, text messaging. I'm living over here.
What about YouTube?
Yep.
Good.
Nobody's playing here, and then everybody that's playing here is going 70%. So go 150% on the thing that's popping.
Yeah.
Taste everything else at all times. So when this does decline, you're all in here. You're all in here. You've tasted on Peach, or you've tasted on Vero, and every single person that signed up followed me. But then I had
on the suggested usually.
because I was active and first.
Right. How did you know to be first on Twitter?
Because I'm always living in the 20%.
All right, got it.
Now I've got a special bonus clip from Gary on how to be self-aware that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. How can you use the 79-21 rule in your business? Number 2, how can you turn your hobbies into a business idea? And number 3, what would you regret if you don't take action on this week?
I wanted to know your opinion on if there was, for example, you could create a company that actually made income, helping people, where you could then turn that income and reinvest it into creating other forms of ways of helping people. Is that not something that would be a positive way of doing something?
I'll let you answer as well. My hot read on that is, first and foremost, everybody should do whatever the they want. Like, what my opinion means jack shit. There are people, like, my point of view is, for me, just me, I like to build things that are business, and then I get profits, and with some of those profits, I like to do good things. I like separation. Jab, 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 right hook. If somebody wants, if Blake, who's a great friend, did Tom's shoes and the way he liked, and many people argue which one has more scale. Whichever one has more scale is whoever executed better at their thing. Bill Gates made a lot of money and is giving it all away, and so is Warren Buffett. That's plenty of scale. Tom's will never sell enough shoes to beat Warren Buffett in his giving back. So, like, I think it's about self-awareness. What makes you happy and what you think is right.
If you want more Gary Vee, check out the top 50 rules video I made on him. The link is right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
And if you don't adjust to the reality of the situation, you will be completely left behind. Too many people are executing